Here we have banana chips, and they're a great snack for around the house for kids. They taste so good, and the kids always like them. And if you have to notice, see how crisp everything is? And all you do with those, as I said before, you just slice them, spray them with some lemon juice, and throw them on the dehydrator. You don't have to do anything else to them. Same thing. This is a mango. And the neat thing about mangoes that you can do is you can put them on your meat slicer and slice them really thin, and then put them on your dehydrator, and you have a mango chip. And these are so good. And the kids just love them. It's just like eating candy. And the same thing with your oranges. You can cut your oranges real thin on your meat slicer and dehydrate them. And look at that. Nice and crisp, just like an orange chip. Okay? Or you can make them a little thicker, like this. Same thing, nice and crisp. I like them thick or really thin, doesn't matter. Here I have raspberries. My favorite thing to dehydrate are raspberries. They're so easy. All you do is take them out of the pack and put them on your dehydrator, and they're so light afterwards. It's almost like styrofoam. And the kids really love these, just like that, or putting them in their cereal. Okay, the other thing I have over here is this is the cauliflower that I told you about and how it turns a little brown. But not to worry, because when you rehydrate your cauliflower, it will turn right back to the original color. The other thing that I like to do is I like to take my orange peelings and my lemon peelings, and I put them in a plastic bag in the refrigerator till I'm ready to fill up the dehydrator with them, and I'll dehydrate them. And then what I do is I take my orange peels and I put them inside my wheat grinder. Okay. All right. And what you have here is granule orange peels, and you would use this in making orange chicken or any dishes that you need an orange sauce for your chicken or whatever you're going to prepare that requires orange peels. Another thing you can do with your dehydrated food is you can make your own cornmeal. So what you're going to do is take your corn, okay, now with the corn, what you want to do is you always want to run your cornmeal through twice. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Turn your corn into instant cornmeal. And then what I do is, this will be my orange granules. You vacuum pack it and fill your jars. When your jars are empty, you can use that. And then you can vacuum pack your corn. But what I like to do, and I think it's more economical, is I'll buy a 25-pound or a 50-pound bag of cornmeal, and I'll measure out each packet to be 2 cups, and I'll vacuum pack it all. So if I want to make cornbread, I just grab this, and I know I have 2 cups here, so I can make cornbread. But if you ever had to make cornmeal with your corn, you could do it. And these things cost about $25 for this one here, but the really nice wheat grinders in that, they're $300 or $400. But this one works fine for what I'm doing. Okay, what we're going to do now is fruit roll-ups. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take your Ziploc baggies, and you notice how they have this ink on this side here? You want to make sure that that's pointing down, okay? Because if you put your fruit roll up on top of it and you pull it up, it's going to pull the ink up, like silly putty when you put it on a newspaper. It's going to pull that off. So you want to turn it upside down, and you want to put it on your tray, and I use duct tape. Now you can try other tapes, but I found the only tape that really works is duct tape. Everything else kind of dries up and falls off. But you want to do this because you don't want this to blow over the top of your fruit roll-up while it's dehydrating. And so you just put little pieces of duct tape around it. And not to worry, because they come off real easy. They don't stick on your dehydrator, it won't make a mess, and they just go on and it comes off really easy. Okay, so you want to get your trays ready, like this, and you're going to want to put them aside. Okay? And then what you want to do is you want to come over here and you want to take your blueberries, and you're going to put your blueberries inside your blender. And what you want to do is you want to add a little corn syrup. Now you can either add corn syrup or honey, but you never want to add sugar because the sugar will crystallize and your fruit roll-up will be ruined. So you can only use corn syrup or honey. Okay? I'm going to use corn syrup on my blueberry. On my bananas, I love to use honey and lemon. And you just eyeball it. I feel like Rachel Ray. Just eyeball it. And you're going to add a little bit of lemon juice. Now, in all of your fruit roll-ups, you have to put the lemon juice in because the lemon juice has a natural pectin that thickens everything. And it's just like when you're canning and you're making jellies, you would always put lemon juice in it, and that helps thicken up your jellies. Okay? And simple as this. You just put it on, and you put it on puree. Okay, now, what you're going to do next, if you wanted it raw, you would just pour it on your plastic bag. But, like I said, I prefer to cook them, especially when it comes to blueberries and things like that. I think that they turn out a lot better with cooked. So what you do then is you're going to come over here, and you're going to put it in your pot. And you're going to cook this for about 2 to 3 minutes. You'll know when it starts to thicken up. And you have to constantly stir it. You just can't walk away from it because it'll burn on the bottom. And this looks real good. So I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to take it off. Now, before you place it on your plastic Ziploc baggie, what you're going to want to do is you're going to pour it into a container and let it cool first. Okay, while this is cooling, I'm going to tell you how to do the apples. You're going to make sure your apples are washed. You're not going to remove the peelings from them, okay? So the peelings stay on. That's going to give the fruit roll-up the red color. And then you're going to take your core and just simply do this. Okay. And you're going to put your apples in your blender and add some lemon juice because your apples are dry, so your apples and your bananas are going to require more lemon juice than any of your other fruits, okay? So I'm going to pour a little bit of lemon juice in there. Now, with the apples, you can use honey, but again, I'm going to use the corn syrup. The other thing about the apples is that you can put nutmeg in it, apple spice, apple pie spice, or any other kind of spice that you want to put in it, cinnamon or whatever, and it makes it smell really good and taste really good. So we're going to blend that. Okay, and this one I'm going to add a little cinnamon to it. And it's great with cloves in it too. Okay. Now the same thing with this. You can do it raw, or you can put it in the pan and cook it. I prefer to put it in the pan and cook it. I think the kids like it better that way, but it tastes really good raw too. Okay. Now the thing that you need to know about doing this is when you do cook them, you need to let them cool. So the longer you let them cool, the more it thickens up and the easier it is to do this. So then what I do is I take this little brush here that you baste turkeys and chickens with, and I just make it into a nice circle like that. Perfect. Now, a fruit roll-up will generally take about 15 to 18 hours to do because you put the corn syrup in it. So it's going to take a little bit longer to dry that out. Your fruit, like your oranges and so on and so forth, that shouldn't really take more than 15 hours to dehydrate oranges. And if it does, then there's a problem somewhere. But other than that, your fruit roll-ups do seem to take a little bit longer than slicing your fruit and putting it on because, like I said, there's corn syrup in here. What we have here is, this is the uncooked apple, because you can see all the peelings in there. Okay, so this is the uncooked apple roll-up, and this is the cooked apple roll-up. So there's a difference in the way they look and the appearances, but it's up to you whether you like them cooked or raw. So you can do it both ways.